is it a cold one today? So here's our new pieces, and this is my template. Everything on here has to be transferred over to here. All this. This little bead has to be let in. That's for the body, literally the sheet metal of the side of the truck, and tacks to that. And I'll do that on the router table. And all these holes, as I mentioned before, the little square cuts, because the steel covers those up, there's no way to grab these from the back. They literally have to be like that to slide in and in between the sheet metal, and then somehow brought back out and locked in where they won't turn in there. That's going to be a real trip. But all these holes, and this one up here, these have to be exactly like that. These holes are for the glove box. There's a glove box on either side, little glove compartment, and this is a main support along the roof. So all this stuff, and then we could start. This is actually for the other side, but you get the picture. This is my heater today. I've had this for over 20 years, and I just got it opened up. I didn't even know if the parts were inside of there. I didn't want to destroy it trying to open it. Transmission fluid and heat. And finally, got the little bugger glowing. Kind of cool. And now we're gonna do this side. And as I showed in other videos, that bugger, look how much is missing. Oh, it's burnt. And the other one was cracked anyways. And the bottoms were rotted. But these are a mirror image of one another. And I'm using this where the door closes. And it's kind of a grand central register. So I made, since this one's going to be opposite of that one, so I could line them up easier, I kind of transferred that line over, but obviously not to cut there. You know, typical carpenter thing. Like, all this gets removed, so there's no confusion. This is the mechanism in that little catch plate that goes in that, but this just carries those lines over so I could line it up easier. Transfer all our markings on this one over to that one, and I'll confirm it with what's left of this one, because there's enough here to actually confirm that. Anyhow, there you go. Okay, wood bit fun fact time. I grabbed this large one I'm not going to be using for anything, but so you can see it. This is a wood bit. If you see these little barbs, if you spin that backwards, it'll make a really crisp, clean hole. And you could probably even drill all the way through a board in reverse. But if you start off, just do a little bit in reverse, those cutting edges will lay and slice across the grain so you won't tear everything out when you go drilling into it. But a lot of people don't know that. I figured I'd say something. Okay, so remember that lip I was talking about? For the sheet metal of the body, actually wraps around here. That's the outside curve of the truck. And the sheet metal attaches and ends up flush with this. So we're over on my router table, and I have this set to the proper height to give us that lip. I'm gonna do that now. Well, not the prettiest I've ever seen, but it isn't bad. I got a little ridge there to clean up, because this cut is a little bit wider than that bit. I guess I could have moved my fence back, but yeah, just tiny little, get that with a hand chisel and sand that corner up nice. But yeah, we're looking pretty good. Block these down one at a time. Kind of fun to imagine old Henry Ford, not too far from here, working on prototypes in his shop. This plane, 1864, and that is the right tote. People, well, what's that tote going on there? That's the correct tote on that. And it's kind of interesting if you're into this or not. But that's back when their logo, it says Stanley Rule and Level Company. Pretty cool plane. This is one of my favorites. Just love this little guy. Survivor. But 1864, I believe, on this one. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the corner off. I have a little cleanup there. Do with another plane. Ease those corners just a little bit. And this little guy, that's intact. I'll glue that. Just because. Let's see. this guy. This little guy is a cheapo, but it allows you to get right up to the corner, where this one you can't. Okay, got her bladed just a little better. Let's see a little track mark there. We'll just follow this right around. Oh yeah, it's a lot better. And this little area down here. Cut the blade out a little far. Yeah, we're cutting a little deep. Nice crisp edge. You know, it seems so barnwood, seems crude or whatnot, but everything has to, you know, you think Henry Ford was an engineer, machinist. And he had a system. His cookies were cut so. Away we go. And again, we're just taking little curls off. And see this, if I make a shadow, see that ridge? It's real heavy there. I messed up with the router. It's far enough. Yeah, we're just taking little bits off. This wood is pretty rough grain. You don't want to do anything too fast. You'll regret later. Take our time. Yeah, that's nice. And then we bring this little guy in at one spot right there. A little bit. That's good. I love it. Okay, so this is a little bit of weirdness. These are critical, where these holes come through, these bolts come through and bolt to the steel plate that comes around the bottom of the chassis and bolts to the frame. These have to be critical, but I want to try to do the same angle. So if I put this on the drill press, you know, how are we drilling? I'm going to drill this side first because, like I said, it's real critical. But I'm going to try to come out where they originally did. So I'm just going to kind of do like this. Leave my little marks on this edge here. Hope my head's not in the way. Apologies if it is. Because it could get real disorienting. Now I'm going to line it up with these lines here. So I could kind of double check. You know, it's still a little bit of guesswork. I don't like that, but I'm sure there's a million ways to do it. But this is how I'm going to do it. Just so I have some kind of reference. Some sort of reference of the angle is compared to the surface. If that makes any sense. And our last one here. That line. Pick a line. So, yeah, the flat surface of a, you know, if I hold it like that, in reference to that, you know, the drill's going to go on that angle. So I'm going to try to eyeball it and adjust accordingly. And it'll still be good this way because we're nice and square everywhere. We already checked that. But, yeah, these angles are a little funny. So I'm going to have some lines there for the moment. Okay, so I have this adjusted. Stop or I won't drill through the table. But earlier, you saw me measuring the bolt for the appropriate drill bit. It has to be tight because the square head, get the darn thing to focus. Well, there's a square up there, and this pulls down in. It has to embed down into there so it doesn't turn, because this bolt's going to be hidden, covered with the side of the truck. The sheet metal won't be able to get to it, and as you screw it, you don't want that spinning in there. So that drill bit size, it has to be snug, this bolt, otherwise it'll turn. And if I'm talking funny, it's because my damn mouth is frozen. It's cold out here. Well, I used a scrap piece of oak to kind of get those lines in level with the bit. And this one was way out there. But we didn't do too bad. A little off the target, but that's pretty good. This end gets, like I said, it gets completely hidden, but you still, you know, you want to try to do it how they originally designed it. And there we go. I chose to go this direction because this gets bored out for the heads to fit, and it doesn't matter. That tiny little bit of tear out's going to be gone anyway. So let's go ahead and do those. Well, that spinning thing will keep it tied, tucked into your shirt. I'll clean up there. But, well, redo that one a little bit. Okay. Really happy with that. It's a bit of a wrestling match, holding that bugger, those angles, but it's like wrestling a hog. And no, I've never wrestled a hog, but I've dreamt about it. My knees came out. I like that. I'm happy. Okay, we still have to drill our top holes out. I had to rig this table up for the depth. This thing is such a pain in the neck, but over here, this horrific mess. But this table, I shaped my guitar necks on this and use it like an overhead. Well, another video, but the thing is so heavy that I actually came up with a jack system. And I think you can get these at Target, but it made life a whole lot easier. I'm gonna have to do that to this one. Okay, there we are. Now these guys, remember these guys? There's a bunch of ways. I mean, I could, you know, we got a weird banana shape here. I could take it on the table saw to that depth and just shoom shoom, or on the router. But you know, it's just actually kind of faster to do hand tools. So I'm just going to, with my little dovetail saw down and then chisel the main bulk out. The reason why I won't chisel all the way down in one shot, I don't know what the grain's doing in there, and I don't want to tear it out. You could do here, back and forth, meet in the middle, but it's I kind of want it real smooth and precise. So I'm going to go so far down, and then this is a router plane. This little cutter bit, you have a depth adjustment, and I've done guitar neck, my joinery for my guitar necks to get them just perfect precise. It's like surgical sharp. And this will clean out the bottom real nice and flat when I get it close. But on another note, if you're ever chiseling this guy here, that bevel, you might start right on the line, and as you pound it in, that bevel is going to push the chisel over past your line. Even in hardwood, always start way back, and see what the wood's doing. See how your chisel's behaving if you're new to it. But I typically start here, give it a couple taps, and it'll suck right into that line. But just a thought. Okay, unfortunately, this is maxed out. Won't go any lower. Blade is all the way out. We're almost there, but, well, plan B. Okay, breaking the old timers out. This guy, just a little too wide, and cuts on an angle, which is nice for hardwood, but this is a really hardwood. This guy is straight on, but you can see it allows you to cut right up into the shoulder. You just have to watch how deep you're going. This guy on the angle, actually, I've had really good luck with this one, and the blade is the proper width for this block. So I might go with this one. Yeah, half at a time. So I'll adjust that and see how this goes. This wood is rock hard though. Okay. And I did have a little tear out, but the bottom is flat, except for a little bit of tear out. It isn't bad. The corners are nice and crisp. It's precise. This doesn't rock around. It just sits in there flat. And when that bolts down, that'll be nice and solid. Okay, it's time to do our other one, and I'll be back. It's I don't know, must be about 5 o'clock. It's getting dark already, but I'll keep plugging along. I wanted to get these in today, but that's probably not going to happen. Son of a gun. Look at that gnarly nail. I don't know where it's coming from, where it was going, what its plans are. It's got to come out of there, son of a gun. All right, at least I didn't. I thought I felt this here little shiny spot when I was with the saw. And these saws are only like 20 bucks, but still, you know, I've had this for years. And nice British steel, Sheffield, England. And yeah, if it had the other handle like that, it'd be like a $200 saw. Ridiculous. It's the same blade, but these are indispensable. Use them all the time. Look at that gnarly bugger. There's the tip. You can see where it was cut 140 years ago or something. But yeah, we're gonna clean that up. Didn't tear things up too bad, but could have been better, could have been worse. And got it out. So typically when I chisel, you know, a chisel will give you a straight edge reference, no matter where you are, all the time. And I always cut this way with the bevel up. This stuff is so gnarly. I'm actually using the bevel to kind of scoop back up, and I can see how far down I cut with my saw. So I have a visual on how far I want to go. So I am using it, to me, upside down, so I don't tear anything out of there. This board is structural as far as the structure of the truck goes. So I'm gonna keep at it. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, it's pretty nice and crisp. That's a little bit of a bummer, but it looks worse than it is. It's actually quite flat. Just stained from the rust. Who knows how long that nail's been in there. Oh, put that back in. But, you know, you get the gist of it. And that'll fit in there real nice. And copying the other one, how could it not? So, we got our top support drilled. Little contours, that guy, and these guys. And a medium heavy steel plate bracket support goes over that and ties to the frame. And now we have our channel for our steel to weigh in. Love it. Look at some of that. And this is oiled up. This will actually be in the truck. And the tiger stripes, that oak. Got a quarter sawn look. Kind of fun. A bunch of it down here. It should be down by the floor, but pretty cool. Yep. Felt the temperature drop. But might install these tonight. This might require daylight though. But they're ready to go. I'm really happy with how these came out with this wood beam. It's from 1864 barn. It was under the floors and had floorboards nailed to them of a small livestock barn. You could literally, like when I was routing this and sanding them, you get a little hint of goat. That kind of goat cheese kind of smell. But anyhow, what a mess. I'm gonna clean up. Thanks for watching.